Of course, when the movie comes out on the screen, in that case it will not have any mistakes, and this is a wrong belief. In this video, you will see some cinematic mistakes that you have never noticed.
Space Empire. In this movie is considered one of the famous films in the field of space wars, in the scene in which the robot was cruelly attacking and firing in various directions. Then a man ascends and enters and detonates it, and it is eliminated. You will see at the foot, if you are at the top of your focus, that there is something lifting the machine off the ground to fall on its side. Jason Bourne. This movie contained many mistakes. And perhaps this is the reason why it did not receive a high rating on the famous review sites. But let us mention the two most famous mistakes in our first point of view. Is the chase scene that was supposed to take place in London and appears in the background a famous hotel in the city, Las Vegas, and the second mistake when cars were flying in the air when a huge truck was passing between them. Perhaps in this scene, they forgot to apply the theory of gravity. In space, there is also a film about aliens and their invasion of the Earth. There was a scene when the alien in a human body went to the refrigerator, in which young humans and aliens were in order to place an alien egg between the human eggs and then put it in the space designated for the aliens. How is this? Did he forget? Ant-Man. This character is one of the last funny characters that Marvel invented. In this movie, the man had supernatural power, but it was more scientific than natural. The mistake when the Ant-Man was with other ants in the water tap, but there was writing on the tap from the inside. Usually, we find the writing from outside. But anyway, it was a nice movie. James Bond. When we talk about James Bond, we will forget the physical laws for a moment. But this is in the movements of the main character of our movie, Bond, and when it comes to one of the other actors in the film, this is a big mistake. Do you remember the scene in which Bond was on the harbor waiting on his motorcycle, behind him the workers? What this man is doing is that he moving air instead of dust. The Wonder Woman in this movie was the Wonder Woman is very wonderful. But in fact, there was a mistake in her famous movie that while the man was bathing and then wearing his clothes, we heard a zip closing his pants. But in fact, it was not used in pants until after the year 1920, and at this time the film was not photo. Spider-Man, as usual in other movies, has a lot of mistakes, but we will focus on one mistake when Spider-Man was fighting Iron Man and the Iron Man split the ship into two halves. In this case, the ship is supposed to sink immediately, but what we see in the scene is that the ship started to split, taking a long time until Spider-Man came and caught it and put it back on again. And in fact, this does not happen. Star Wars. Returning again to space movies. In this scene, this blind man was fighting a group of men in white suits, and in the scene of fighting between this blind man and these men, he was kicking grains of sand at the eyes of the spaceman, so the man retreated as a result of what came in his eyes of sand. How is this? You wearing a helmet? Thor. This movie is the last movie on our list. The man who controls thunder. When he threw his brother Loki at the guards, there was a guard in the back that didn't even get hit, but he fell with the other guards who were hit by Loki's body. Anyway, it's still a great movie.